Okay, we made it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Lunar New Year weekend. We had a few little tech difficulties at Facebook, so we're coming to you via recording today, January 20th, 2023. As always, I'm so thrilled to have my dear friend and guest wizardly astrologer, Shannon Murray of Lunar Ladies.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Thanks for putting up with that was some crazy tech stuff, and it's not even Mercury retrograde. It's still in the shadow. Yes, it is. So we're double recording this, folks, for you, just to make sure that you guys get this information. So so happy and honored to have Shannon on the Cosmic Couch program. I have not done a Cosmic Couch. I was thinking it's probably been a year. And what a year it's been. So everybody that's watching this, thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're taking good care of yourself. We're going to just give you a little overview about, how we kind of do the chunks of the year, because there's so much. If we did the whole year again, we'd be here for 3 hours, and we're not doing that. And my special guest has her day to get on with. So we're not doing that. So what we are going to talk about today is a little bit about the Lunar New Year, which is going to be here in a couple of days. Yay. And then we're going to get into a little bit about Saturn. I'm having my second Saturn return. And so yay, lots of other wise women that are going to be watching this. Saturn in Pisces. There's also going to be some other women, other folks that are having their first Saturn return in their 20s. So that's happening too. We're going to, talk a little bit about that. So what can we talk about? We're in a 7. 2023 is a 7, which I absolutely love. What is that about? That is a slower year. That's a more meditative year. It's highly spiritual. So the intel that I've been receiving about this is that this is really a year to kind of catch your breath. It's been a lot. Yeah. Just a little bit. So, right. It's a year to just kind of, assess, go a little slower, definitely take more time on an inward level. The energies are really going to support that healing work, meditation. I have a wonderful class series that I'm going to talk about later in the broadcast, that I have something happening every month for the next 4 months, working with the healing angels, helping us drop stuff that's no longer serving us and get more into, positive, higher frequencies that'll help serve us where we're going. Because next year is an 8, y'all. Mm-hmm. And it's a dragon, and it's the year of the dragon. And what's amazing is it's the year of the wood dragon, which is my year, which is 64 and a little bit of 65 there. So all you 64 folks, it's our year. So that's pretty exciting. The other thing, so coming this year is year of the Yin, the Water Rabbit. So Shannon, what could you share with us, what you've in your studies and understanding about the water rabbit? I love to hear that.
Well, thank you. Well, it definitely goes along with what you're sharing, with the 7 being a gentle, spiritual, inward, really tapping into your spirit and being in that awareness before anything else. So like that rabbit is a gentle nature, and the yin is in. I always say, like, okay, yang is out here, but yin is in. And right. So water is your emotions, your feelings, your consciousness, your subconsciousness, looking at a bowl of water or a pool of water and seeing your reflection. So the yin water is being gentle with yourself. Look in the mirror. Don't be afraid. Find out what's there. What is your consciousness made of at this point? And if you find something that wow, I would like to change that, upgrade it, improve it. This is a great year to do that, because like Irma said, once you get into the dragon year, you want to be in your power, which is really understanding your subconscious. And I think the rabbit will help us with that.
I love that the word yin has in it. I love that.
I'm like, yin is in, right?
Look at you say I'm the wordsmith, but you come up with some really good ones. I mean, you've got all that Gemini. My question for you is, I heard that this was a black water. It's black water. What exactly is that? Does that make it more yin because it's like a void energy? Can you explain that a little bit?
Definitely. Well, I think it's interesting too, when we look at the new moon in Aries, there's 2 new moon in Aries, which a second new moon in the sign is a black moon.
Black moon, right, right.
So in traditional Chinese mythology, the color black represents water.
Oh, okay.
Right. And in traditional Chinese medicine, the water element has to do with the kidneys and the bladder, right? Which is fear.
Fear.
Yeah. That's the dark side, or the hidden side of the water element is fear. So, and that's what will keep us from love, is if we have a lot of unconscious fear programming, phobias, past life unworked out stuff, where, you know, Irma and I were sharing together, like there's things that happen to us that trigger us to go into a certain state of awareness or mind, because maybe it's something terrible or traumatic that happened in another life that may rise to the surface, not to scare you or create it again, but to heal it. Maybe there's an opportunity in this life to make your way through that, to heal, transform, transmute, move to the other side of it. So I think that the black color is really just showing you, okay, what's hidden. In order to find it, got to go in, you got to feel it to heal it. And, you know, it's just, and in the darkness is the womb.
Right.
So, right. And it's like returning to that womb-like state where you can rebirth. Right. And then I think it gets us into the Pluto energy of this year as well. So.
Right, right. You know what else? What's interesting, what else I was getting? Well, first of all, I had a post today, because I love these lines always kind of intersect. And I had a post today at Facebook about emotional processing and how it's very important, and how spiritual bypassing, which I'm convinced is a psyop. But anyway, all that bypassing that kind of infiltrated the new age or the new thought community, like, oh, they're, you know, good vibes only and all that stuff. The, you know, the toxicity of that, right? Because like you said, you have to heal it to feel it. And that's something that goes back to my body worker days. You know, I was a massage therapist for many years. So that goes back to that, like whether it's in your consciousness or your body. And if it's up here, it's eventually going to be here, because it needs to be worked out. So I really love what you said about how we are working with subconscious material in a 7-year, in a yin energy year. And is it all fun or pretty? No. No, it's not. But the thing about an 8 and a dragon year, it's all about, you hear me, and this is another thing, you hear me use the word sovereignty. You know, my guidance team, the keepers, have used that word a lot. Unfortunately, that's another word that's been thrown around to the point where in some communities it's become ridiculous or redundant. But the bottom line is, sovereignty is a very important word and concept right now, especially, right? To be self-sovereign, to be self-governing. Are you just parroting what, you know, programming, what people are telling you, what media is telling you, or are you really living from your truth? Because really a dragon year is truly about that. It's about self-sovereignty. So I love how these years go together. I love how we get this little kind of like the 7 feels like a respite energy to me that we very, very much need. And I made Shannon laugh before we started the recording, where I said, if you're still here, you have a purpose. It's really very important. You're not just, you know, aimlessly wandering around as a soul. You have a purpose for being here. So I feel like that's part of the work this year, is really aligning with that, aligning with our purpose. And also what's, you know, the analogy of the, you know, if the clouds are over the sun is still there, right? So we're just moving those clouds aside, whether they be, and like Shannon was saying, whether it's trauma from another time, whether it's trauma from this life, childhood issues, whatever it is. So I love that we're being given this opportunity. And, you know, the other thing, talking about Saturn, is I was sharing with Shannon that I looked up the Sabian symbol for my Saturn, which is very enlightening. And I'm amazed that I hadn't done that before. That's the fun thing about your chart. Like there's so many levels and layers,
it's endless.
Right? That's why you can have, you know, Shannon could look at your chart and she's brilliant, believe me. And she'll see something. And maybe if I look at your chart, I might zoom in on another point, because it's such a beautiful treasure map. There's so much going on there, right? I like to call them treasure maps, because that's how I look at a chart, as a treasure map.
Definitely, because if you think about astronomers, there's not just one astronomer looking at the night sky. There's thousands of them. And so astrologers are like astronomers. And your chart is like the night sky. So we're all going to look at it and have our own point of view and perspective. So it's great to have as many astronomers as possible.
Right.
Looking at your night sky,
Right. That's a great way of looking at it. And I was telling her that there's an aspect, not to go too much in my own personal stuff, but there's an aspect about the Saturn in Pisces in the Sabian symbol that could be perceived. There's a negative aspect to it, or I should say a difficult aspect to it, a challenging aspect. And what's really beautiful about being this age and coming around to my corondom, right? If you're coming into your second Saturn return, you're coming in, if you're a man, you're coming into your sage energy, your crone energy, crone wisdom, is that I looked at that and I could see over the last 30 years, the difference between the first Saturn return and the second. And it's like that challenge really has played out in my life, and I can see how it has. But I can also see that I've risen to the occasion. I have an Aries moon, so fortunately I have some courage, and I rose to the occasion, and I'm still here. And that feels really amazing. So I feel like that's what you're looking at, the folks that are coming into your second Saturn return, is it's not so, because you get this a lot, like, oh, should I be afraid? Everyone's like, be very afraid. And it's like, no, it's just, I think what's beautiful about the second one is you really can kind of look back, because you have more trajectory. You have a rear view to look in and go, wow, look at how I dealt with that. And then on the other hand, you could go, oh, well, maybe these areas I could be a little more skillful in dealing with that going forward, right? We could all tweak and improve things. So it's interesting. I love that the Saturn return is in a 7-year, is in a water rabbit year. That feels so gracious to me. Yeah. It feels very gracious. Doesn't that feel gracious? Like, thank you, universe. That's beautiful.
And just think about, in your particular case, Irma, like that water, what's it going to do? It's going to water the wood dragon of your next year. So what happens to wood when it gets watered?
Wow.
It grows.
Wow.
It branches out.
See, this woman is just
so
kiss
water
forever.
Saturn return, beautiful experience you're stepping into is like a source for your golden wood dragon year that's on its way.
That's so beautiful. And I love that it's not fire out the gate, because it's just be like, ouch, you get your butt a little crispy there if it was like fire right out the gate, right? So we have this kind of easing into that, which I love. We also were talking about when we were trying to figure out how to do this today, before we were high vibing the technology to the point where we couldn't even go live earlier, which I have to just laugh. I was talking to Shannon about how it's really interesting that Saturn will be in Pisces and Pluto will be in Aquarius, right? And how Aquarius, the shadow of Aquarius is to be detached to the point where you're like Spock, you're like you're so detached that you're just like, oh, people of Earth, eye roll or whatever.
Totally. Oh, I saw a funny meme this morning. I gotta find it again. It was really funny. Anyway,
you'll send that to me. But so that's the shadow of that. So, but Pisces is very much in its higher octave. It's about compassion. It's very much about putting yourself in someone else's shoes, being able to see from another perspective. So both of those energies are from a different perspective, but Aquarius is very high, right? It's Uranian, it's things that are not on the planet yet. But I really feel that can be the shadow of Aquarius energy, is to be too detached, and can even be cold and unfeeling. And we were talking a little bit about how this could play into AI, and which is, there's certainly problematic elements of that. So what can you share with us on your thoughts about Pluto and Aquarius, Shannon?
Wow. Well, thank
My
you.
beloved friend.
Well, I'm very, very curious about Pluto and Aquarius, because from like, if your body, like going back to traditional Chinese medicine thinking, especially when we talk about the Yin rabbit, they see the body as the container for spirit. So the body itself is a container holding like the Akashic records that, you know, is another way of you know, addressing our soul's energy, our journey through the, you know, these lifetimes and on through the cosmos. So if you think like, as an idea of Pluto and Aquarius going off the deep end, to me, in my humble opinion, just, you know, not stating fact, but just as an opinion, if I'm going to allow technology to enter my container, which is housing my spirit, I'm probably going to say no. I'm probably going to say, like, is that made of, you know, does that feel like divine energy or God energy or source energy or love energy? Oh, it's devoid of all those feelings? Well, get away from my body.
Right.
Hands off my body, right?
Yeah.
Because, and I think that with the matching of Saturn and Pisces, because Saturn in its highest realm is the mastery.
Right.
Self-mastery, coming into the highest realm of Pisces, that compassionate, flowing ocean of unconditional love. You have to apply, and what was it, Thich Nhat Hanh said, if you don't have compassion for yourself, you can't have compassion for others. It starts with us, starts with you, right? So if you apply that philosophy of beingness into a Pluto and Aquarius, like, hey, the you know, the mainstream media is saying how great it all is to have all of this technology and it makes life easier. And like Irma said, you know, is it taking the place of your soul in your body? Like, you know, I'm not going to pay with my palm for groceries. You're not going to put a chip in my, you know, in my, this is a sacred portal in the body. Like, no, I'm not going to get an identification chip. So anyway, that's part of my.
Neither am I, sister. We're in agreement on that.
Are you not putting in my stargates? No. I don't need that kind of convenience.
You don't need that. You were
I'm
not born with that. That was not given to you from Source Creator. You did not need that. You know what? If I could jump in, you know, we always get these great little intersects. What I got is I've been doing some research. I am just a little plug. I'm doing a little free class, y'all. Energetic hygiene and new grounding protocols based on some things that I've been studying, and also based on my work as a in-person and distant healing practitioner for 25 years. I joke and go, yeah, I started when I was 7. Anyway.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah. So what was interesting is it's like when you think about Pisces and you think about, you know, of course, my beloved homeboy, Edgar Casey, when you think about when you channel, you're actually, you know, the traditional, you know, version of channeling is you let another being or another consciousness come into your vehicle. That was how channeling was done back in the day. There's still some people that do it that way. Again, no judgment. But with me, especially being very empathic in the way that my physical body is set up, that doesn't work for me. That didn't work for me to allow other energies to actually come into my being. And I did do that in the beginning in 94 when I started. And I wasn't a conscious channel. It just kind of happened. So my goal, and this is interesting because Saturn, when you think about how Saturn and Pisces this is, Pisces is like it's open. It's the cosmic ocean. It's like all channels are open, right? It's extremely, it is the cosmic ocean. Saturn comes in and goes, hey, let's put a dam there. Let's build a little structure, right? Because Saturn is structure. Let's build a structure so this is safer for you. Right. So I feel like how this plays into with Pluto and Aquarius technology, it's all about telepathy. Higher actives of Uranian energy is telepathy. So that means I don't have to totally connect with you and get, you know, whoever it is and get their energy in my being. I don't have to do that. I can connect on higher levels through my third eye, through my crown, through telepathy, and I can receive the information that way. and that's safer, right? So
That
yeah,
is
I think
such sorry, that's such a great point, because I feel like that's the gifts, one of the gifts of Pluto, because Pluto is about regenerate, rebirth, you know, it's transformation, soul energy. So as Irma was saying, like that's another soul gift or a soul sense. Like we have our 5 senses, 6 senses. This is a whole other sense that's been latent or forgotten about, that can re-emerge or rebirth itself
yes.
within us, to the point where we don't really need a world wide web. You know, we don't really need the internet or social media platforms, because we could also all meet, if we can develop that sense, in the cloud, literally.
I love that, in the cosmic cloud, right? Isn't that great?
Like Irma could have her meeting room, not on Facebook, but on a real
I could go live where I'm not like kicked out or whatever. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
ask for permission.
I know, really click. I know. Wow, that's so great.
That's a possibility. That's a very real possibility. And if you think back, like our ancient ancestors, especially those that built the pyramids or have built things where we're still don't understand how it happened, it's very likely that those human beings at that time could do these things that we're talking about, like tapping in, communicating through the noosphere, right? Like being of the one mind.
Well, this is beautiful. I'm seeing this more too, because I also predicted with Pluto and Capricorn that more and more people were going to become have mediumistic skills. And so many, this is one thing I hear a lot from people all the time. And unfortunately, we know we're in a very large exit portal, and it started, you know, a few years ago. So I am hearing from a lot of people that went, oh, I never got a message from a deceased loved one in my life. And now, whether it's their father, grandfather, grandmother, whoever it is, beloved soul family, these more and more people, and see, this is telepathy, because they're not channeling it in their being. They're going in the cloud. They're going in the cloud going, hey, where? Oh, she's over there. I'm gonna, oh, how are you? And you know what's amazing? These beings have dropped their physical body, right? They're connecting with their essence in the cloud. So I'm already seeing people do that a lot. And it's so fun to see them light up, like they have no experience in this, they have no training maybe, and they're like, wow, I'm doing it. It's like, yes, it's your natural birthright as a human being, as a spiritual being, to be able to connect with loved ones in other dimensions. We've just forgotten, and this is another beautiful thing, Shannon, in her wonderful solar return. She does my solar return every year in January. And it was about this remembering. It's not like, oh, I'm going to cram all this book knowledge in my brain. It's about remembering things that I've already known. And like Shannon was saying, she's relearning how to read tea leaves, which is totally fascinating to me.
I already know how to read tea leaves. I just got to remember how.
She already knows how to do it. She's just remembering it. And so I think I feel like the challenge, and one of the reasons why I was drawn to do a free lecture, a free class on this, is that the lower octave of Pisces, of course, is confusion, victimization. We can put ourselves in somebody's shoes as empaths to the point where it's incapacitating for us. This has always been a big part of my work. It's in my books. And, you know, basically, if you get down into suffering with someone else, you're not lifting anyone else out of suffering, including yourself. You're not doing that. So what do you do in times of suffering? You shine a light. You offer a bridge, right? You extend that, but not through your own essence. You don't deplete your own energy. You don't, you got to keep yourself intact, right? So I just thought Rush lyric, one must put up barriers to keep oneself intact. Good old Neil Peart, channeling the Akashic records like he always did, right? I mean, that's something he saw all those years ago, right? That you have to keep yourself together so you can continue to do. Another thing, Pisces is Saturn in Pisces. I just discovered this. It's the great work.
That makes sense. And I just want to point out that Irma is in a select group of a 2.5 year, when souls came onto the planet, that have not only Saturn in Pisces, but Chiron in Pisces.
Pisces, yeah.
But I think that thing you talk about the great work. I mean, that's actually like suturing a soul thread that was damaged in the collective psyche. Wow. I know, right? So you're you're suturing as a surgeon.
Not only that, we have all that Virgo.
Exactly. You also have that Virgo. The Pluto, Uranus, Virgo conjunction. Yeah, so there's a 2.5 year group of souls. And I think you should all contact one another and get on that intergalactic cloud.
I agree.
Right? And share best practices.
There's some amazing people. On a little side note, I'm offering Saturn return readings, and I've had a few of these beautiful, amazing, stepping into their crone energy goddesses that have gotten these readings for me. Every one of these for me has been completely enlightening. It's been an absolute blessing. If you want to know more about that, we could talk about that later. That'll be at Facebook and also on my website. But I think you're so right about that, Shannon, that because there's so many common threads that we have. It's so interesting. It's been so interesting to talk to people that are my age that are having that second Saturn return. And I feel like some of the themes that are coming up, and this is kind of a general thing for the second Saturn return in any sign, is you really look at, you're no longer the maiden, you're no longer a child. And so sometimes these aspects of you, the maiden and the child, they need healing. Right? Because this is we all know it's kind of a rough place out there.
Yeah, the world of bones is not an easy place to live.
It's not. So this is something that's been coming up. And another reason why I felt drawn to offer this series. First of all, let me just mention it really quick because it's on my mind. Celestina is all about healing guilt and shame. We know that it was very enlightening to me when I found out that shame is the lowest vibration. It's lower than fear. It's lower than hate. It is the lowest vibration on the tone scale, is shame. Mm-hmm. Guilt and shame, very low. So what do? We transform that. We release that out of our energy field. We release it. And you know what's great? For every person that clears that, what the keepers talk about, widening the road. You widen, I love that expression. You widen the road for someone else to go, oh, I don't have to carry this anymore. No, you don't. You don't have to carry that anymore. Your birthright is joy and love. It is not shame and guilt. That's falsity. That's falsehood that got put on us as human beings. And it's kind of like par for the course of having a body and being here, because there's a lot of that programming in the old paradigm. There's a lot of guilt.
The Pisces.
Yeah, there's a lot. And also, let's be honest, it's a powerful control mechanism. If you control people through shame and guilt, and also sexuality, which you can throw shame and guilt. That's all kind of in the same little ball string there. Yeah. If you can control people through that, then you really have them. So this is a way to get more, like I said, talking about that sovereignty, how to get back to that self-sovereignty. Is you release shame and guilt. First thing. Second thing, we're going to do Gabriel's financial empowerment. We know that it's a little rocky out there in the financial world right now. It has been. So this is all about getting back to our true source, of course, which is source creator. It's not outer conditions. And outer conditions can be scary and changeable. Uranus, Taurus, Shannon and I have spoken about that in the past. So what is that, side hustle, different job, all these different ways of manifesting abundance for ourselves. So that's one area where the technology, I think, is our friend. We can have that be our friend, right? Mm-hmm. Is reaching out different, avenues and ways to manifest abundance for ourselves. Third one is Michael, unplugging from fear. And Michael's been sharing some really powerful stuff about how we can do that. There's a program, there's a thought form, everybody's plugged into it consciously and unconsciously. So the more we can let go of that, literally unplug, as in releasing cords, then that's another way we can get back to sovereignty. The fourth one is faith. I love Faith because somebody described her as being like a bulldozer. That's
awesome.
But it's a really interesting energy because she's so sweet and feminine, but she's so powerful and just like it constant. Her energy is very constant, and her thing is about shoulds. In IET, we talk about being married or addicted to the opinions of others, which is also a big thing. If you're an empathic person, you're a sensitive person, we can all get in that trap of, oh, what do they think? And How's that going to work out? So this is about releasing that addictive demand, or that, being so plugged into other people's opinions. So those are the 4 things that Spirit has presented with us that, where I'm going to be offering that in the next 4 months. So everybody get on Irma. Yeah, it is. It's going to be great. IrmaK.com. I have sliding scales for all events. If you're interested in that, get in on that. So speaking of, we're just sharing some things we've got coming up. What do you have happening? Shannon always has so many beautiful offerings. She's a sound healer. She does. I need to get in her physical presence. I had a session, you guys. We were in this beautiful enchanted forest in Northern California, and she put her forks. I could still like bring that back in my cells. I can still recall that. It was so powerful. So can you share with our audience some offerings and some of the wonderful things you've got going right now?
Wow, thank you, Irma. Yes. Well, I invite everyone, if you haven't joined my community on Facebook and Lunar Ladies, definitely hop on over there, join. And you don't have to be a woman to join, you can be a man. It's open space. And I'm going to be actually expanding the community.
It's a great community, by the way. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it.
So fun.
I'll put the link on we'll put the link on the thread, for people so we can find that. Yeah.
Thank you. We have honorary wizards in the community. So if you are a wizard man watching this video, you are more than welcome to come over.
We love our wizards. We love you.
We have some
love the brothers. Come on over.
So the Brotherhood is open and taking new initiatives. So I recently put a post about the Black Moon Lilith, because she has recently moved into Leo. And when we look at the Black Moon, we look at both her antipode and her sign. So she's in Leo, we look at Aquarius, which then brings us into that Pluto and Aquarius energy. So I innocently made a post. So I just wanted to share the info, and it got a lot of traction. People were like, what? So based on
what?
So based on the response, I am offering a donation-based webinar on the Black Moon Lilith. So
yes, all
so we're going to explore her. We're going to explore her archetype. We're going to find her in your natal chart. We're going to find her where she is today for the next 9 months, and I'm going to help you use this frequency to make your life better, or to help you in whatever ways that you're in need of. But she's a fabulous archetype. She's the original Eve. We want to make friends with our Black Moon. And, she's like the badass goddess you want in your corner, like why is it not constantly?
She is. And mine's in Capricorn, right?
That's nice.
Yeah. And no, this is great information, everybody. Again, you need to know where your Black Moon Lilith is. This is very enlightening information. It tells you it's so many things, because a lot of people think it's just about your, of course it's related to your femininity and your sexuality. Of course it is, but it's also related to how you love and how you relate to prosperity and abundance. I mean, there's a lot going on with Black Moon Lilith, right?
Yeah. And with Black Moon Lilith also she's the gatekeeper for helping you deal with primal fear and shadow work. So but we were talking about earlier, this is the Black Water Yin Rabbit year.
Can you believe her, you guys? Can you believe her? I mean,
so let's deal with our primal fears in a Black Water year, which is there as in the form of a rabbit, which is gentle and kind and welcoming, and it's not there to scare you or to frighten you or so that you shun it away. That's part of the guilt and shame mechanism that's been in play for the last 2,000 years.
Yeah,
to keep you away from your power, because that's what makes the shadow is. It's really your power and being independent, sovereign, all into yourself.
Don't you love how we're always like tandeming? We're always on this wonderful thread. We always do this.
Lovely universal thread. I know, right? It's always at the end. It feels like we just made this most perfect bow.
We always do this.
And we say, here you go.
I called us bookends. I felt like, we always do this, and of course our astrology is very different. We're opposite, which I think is great. Shannon being sun in Cancer and my son's a Capricorn, but I feel like we always do that. I love how you said it, how it makes a bow. I love that.
It really does, doesn't it?
It does. And you know what's great? Another important thing is what's really been coming up. I made Shannon laugh about, the thing about mission and how how we really need to quit bitching and whining, y'all. And I mean, a little bit of that is okay. I feel like if you bitch and moan, and bless JD, because he really taught me this about myself. My friend, my dear departed friend, JD Cogman of Astrolosophy, a great friend and colleague. He really pointed out, I have Sun in the 3rd house. I have to get it out. And this is part of the reason that I write, because writing moves energy also. And I'm just grateful that people actually enjoy my writing because it's therapy. It's very therapeutic. It moves energy. It's very therapeutic, right? So
North Node in Gemini.
North Node in Gemini. That that's actually it, right? So a little bit of that is good. If you have a person, like, of course, sometimes we need to vent because it moves energy. That's different than just sitting in the pity party. That's a totally different thing. That's being stagnant. See, because that's going to be the shadow of water, is to be stagnant, right?
Yes, stagnant. And what happens to stagnant water? It stinks.
It stinks. It grows things that you don't want. It ends up growing weird. It does need to move. Think of right. And then in Chinese medicine, of course, they talk about stagnant qi. Stagnant qi in the body causes illness in the body. This is obviously what we want to avoid. So yes, we need to flow. But the most important thing, a really deep thing, and this is a very Scorpio rising thing, as Shannon pointed out, is there's so much there's so much fear in the collective, right? And there always has been. And a lot of these are legitimate fears now with Uranus and Taurus. Do I have a place to live? Am I going to have food on the table? Do I have a job? These are all valid things, right? There's been humongous shifts. There's unfortunately a lot more unhoused people than there used to be. This has created issues, but the ultimate fear is the fear of death. And if you conquer the fear of death, y'all, you're uncontrollable. No one can control you. Yeah. You're untouchable. This is what sovereignty is all about. If you're ready you can just go, okay, I'm here. I'm in the game. I'm playing the game in my avatar. I'm cruising down the street in my avatar. But really, there's been so much, people don't make great decisions when they're driven by fear. We know this in recent history. We know it in ancient history. This is a thing. So I feel like, again, going back to the graciousness of this year and what we have a whole year, y'all, this is so gracious of the universe to give us this 12 months to actually, or I guess it'd be, we're almost done, 11 months to actually unravel these places that we're stuck. And we all, there's certain things that are universal, right? Fear seems to be universal. People are afraid of different things, but you know what I mean? There's a universality that's happening right now. So what I love about this is we're doing this trajectory together. We're traveling this together. Again, it's white. Oh, look, we got Miss Luna. Miss Luna's saying hi.
It's an interspecies party, Like, don't forget your loved ones.
That's right. Yeah, your four-leggeds are supporting us. So I'm just so excited about this year. It's like when I tuned into the energy of it and just kind of initially received some information, it was like, it felt so healing. Like I said, it felt like a real respite, and just a moment. And there's a lot of peace. And this is another thing, despite all the nonsense and garbage and ridiculous drama that's going on, which isn't going anyplace, right? I mean, that's not going to go anywhere. We always have this peace within. You can always choose peace. This is another message that, guidance has been really wanting me to share with folks, is that take a moment, take a longer moment, take a half hour, go on a mini retreat in your jammies. You don't have to go to a spa or go anywhere fancy. Get unplugged, sit on your chair and return to the peace, return to the quiet. That's where the wisdom is. And we were talking about the remembering. That's when the remembrance of things, that tools and gifts that you need going forward, they're in here. they're going to be reignited. You know, I was hearing that word besides remembering, I heard reignited, and I love that word too.
That's beautiful.
That's a great word, isn't it? I love that.
Yeah.
So Shannon is offering an amazing thing about Black Moon Lilith. Everybody,
Yes,
you need this information. Believe me, I need this information. What is that a date, a particular date you're doing that, or what's the details on that?
It is definitely coming up soon. I wanted to invite the goddess of fire herself, Bridget, which we celebrate her on Imbolc. So it may be on Imbolc.
Look at me, I'm like,
which is February 2nd.
Can you see the sparks coming out of my head right now?
So I think that might be a yes. So circle February 2nd.
Love Bridget. Love her so much.
I know, right? And guess that green comet is coming on her day.
Is that when it is?
That's when it's going to be mostly seen, or brightest or closest to the sun, so we could see it at the night sky.
It's February 2nd.
February
1st.
Well, right in there, so that's good enough for me. That's close enough for.
And not only that, look about it. It's 2-2. It's on the gateway, right? It's on the 2-2. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I think, and those are, the ancients would look at them as harbingers, but harbingers are what? Messengers. Doesn't have to be of doom. It
Right.
can be of greatness, and we're, of grace. But one of the things I heard as we were talking earlier, I just heard it in my mind, was in the Saturn and Pisces power, where we are moving towards as a collective, or maybe returning or reigniting, was I heard that famous line. I'm going to read it. It's a critical essay written by Alexander Pope. To err is human, but to forgive is divine. Shakespearean bow, Irma. Shakespearean bow. So that is the secret, I feel, the mastery that we could do as a collective and have a transformational experience together, Pluto and Aquarius, to get to the mastery of, to recognize, yes, to err is human, of course. And what is err? You missed the mark. Oops, I need to try again.
Right.
And then you can forgive.
I love that. I love that. And it's so beautiful. And it's also the thing too, in IET, forgiveness is Angel Daniel. And I love working with him. And of course, where does anger and all that? It's all about liver and gallbladder. That's an area, again, without flowing. You don't want anything stuck in there, y'all. You definitely don't.
Irma, do you realize what liver and gallbladder is in the elements?
Is water.
Wood.
It's wood. Oh, that's
so wood dragon.
Wood dragon. Wow.
It's healed by water. Kidney bladder. Rabbit.
See how she is? Ding, ding, ding. No, I actually wrote about that this morning too. It's like forgiveness. And again, it's really interesting. A little side note on forgiveness, because I joke and say that this lifetime has given me a lot of material in this area.
That's why I was like, is that on your list of workshops this year? The forgiveness one? I think you do such a great.
I'm going to do we're going to do Daniel a little bit later in the year, and I feel like we're going to do Daniel in Sun and Cancer. I think that would be the time.
Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah.
Because then you forgive. Because then you're going to then what comes after that is then we have Leo.
Right, when the party gets started again.
Then you have Lionsgate. You want to be like you say, you want to travel light through Lionsgate.
Yes, right.
So I'll probably do Daniel in Cancer. I was thinking that would be a good time for that.
I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, I think that works out. But the interesting thing about forgiveness is I hear this from clients. I've heard this a lot of times in my years working with clients, is sometimes we hold on to resentment and bitterness. Not only is it kind of a one up, like it's kind of an egoic one up on the situation, but a lot of times people feel that they will have no control. Like it's a weird modicum of control that people hold on to, like whatever that anger, that bitterness. But you know what I mean? It's like ego can be very tricky when it comes to forgiveness, when it comes to harm that's done to us. And believe me, I could write a whole book on that. Maybe I will. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, forgiveness is a whole dimension. It's a dimension.
It is. And I really understand the reasons why people cannot forgive. And I mean that 100%. I've been there myself. I have no judgment for people holding on to bitterness and resentment. I know that it hurts you and harms you. I've had physical issues in my body because of bitterness and resentment. And I've cleared them as I've let go of that. So I also know that, you can't force it. You can't get over it or any of this bypassing nonsense that people tell people when they're suffering. It doesn't work. Right? You can't just get over it. You have to, every little step though that you take is leading you to the place where you can. So whoever's watching this, if you're in that bitterness and that resentment and you're just not there, the last thing you want to do is beat yourself up about it. That's the last thing you want to do. Right?
Right.
Because it's an awareness. It's like, like Shannon was saying, you've got to heal it to feel it. This is emotional regulation. It's emotional maturity. I am feeling this. I am angry about this. I feel bitter about this. That's your truth. And that's a place you can start. Right?
Yeah.
That's a place you can start. Go ahead.
Yeah. Cause like, I was just thinking as you're sharing, if you have something bitter in your mouth, like you bite in and it's bitter, it's very hard to make a smile. You really can't. You're like, like you're not smiling.
That's a great one. That's such a great one, right? You're going, you're making lemon face.
Like if you were chewing aspirin right now and try to smile, I'll give you $100. I mean, that would be hard to do.
That's a good one. That would be hard to do. No, I love that. You're so funny. I love it.
You're so right about the bitterness.
It is. And another good thing about it is change. The one thing we know that's a constant is change. Nothing stays the same here. So that's another really beautiful thing. I wrote about this morning. It's like, and Annie Pema's beautiful quote that I love to share. You are the sky. Everything else is the weather. It's the truth.
Oh, I love that. Can you make t-shirts?
I know. Isn't that the best quote ever?
Or on a mug.
I mean, me with on a mug with cosmic weather. I know it's the cosmic. You're the cosmic weather. You're the cosmic thing that never changes. That this is the gnats and the rain and the wind. All that is just changeable. So I know that's the thing about this bitterness and this anger. It can feel like such a fixed energy. You know what I mean? It can feel really intractable. And so I feel like we're given a wonderful opportunity with this Saturn in Pisces. Is, again, what is Saturn? It's discipline, right? It's the teacher. It's on the high level. It's the avatars. Yeah. And on another note, Crispian Mills of Kula Shaker, one of my favorite musicians, it's his birthday yesterday, fellow Capricorn. Happy birthday, Crispian. Going to see them play in March. Super excited. And they have a beautiful song called Golden Avatar. And I shared it on my wall on behalf of his birthday. But I was thinking that Saturn and Pisces, it is the avatar. It's the true avatar. It's the Sat Guru that lives within your heart.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The line is, I knew you were the keeper of my heart because you've been there from the start. That's the line. I know you've been there from the start because,
Right.
Oh, and the other line is so great.
It's within.
What was that?
And like for those of us who are, on our path of healing, and we might not realize, or we may have forgotten how special we really are in the big picture of the cosmos.
I love it. And you know what else? The other great line, he said, do you remember who you are? Do you know you fell from heaven like a star?
Oh, well, that's the mic drop right there.
Mic drop.
Right. If you are here in a container with the spirit flowing through, you are a star that fell to the
That's right. You're here to illuminate the place. You are. That's what we're here to do. That's how we're changing the vibration of Earth. As we are changing. I also had a funny post about how another wonderful researcher on the other side now, Dolores Cannon. I know people in this audience are familiar with her, and she was talking about how, and this is mirroring information that I got. The way that the Earth is being transformed is literally through geomagnetism from the sun. Through higher frequencies that are coming to Earth from the sun. So there's an actual physical environmental thing that's happening, right? But then the other way we're doing it is awakening individuals, because it's a process. I say awakening instead of awakened because it's not,
I like
you know,
that.
it's
Yeah.
continual. It's continual.
Yes.
Awakening is a continuum. So awakening individuals are here to share their frequency with other beings. This is what Shannon was talking about. We're talking about the great cosmic cloud,
Yeah.
right? This is influencing that. So even on days when you're not feeling it, having a rough time, or again, maybe you are feeling that bitterness or that anger or whatever it is, again, we're going to go back to that part of you that is the sky, right? In Buddhism, they call that Rigpa. It is that place that it is essence. It is untouched by karma, by garbage, by nonsense, by thoughts that aren't you, by programming, by all of it. Okay.
Mhm.
So I feel like this year is about Rigpa and getting back to that and sitting in that, because that's the ultimate healing. Because you guys, I'm so excited about the dragon year, and not just because I'm a dragon, just because like what the significance of what that is for everyone, right?
Yes, yes. And I want to just add just a little bit of chocolate sprinkles on this beautiful cupcake.
Yes.
That when you sign on to this beautiful invitation to come into the higher aspects of of Saturn and Pisces, which is the Rigpa, like of seeing that, wow, yes, this is reality. You become then the song that's being played for all these Pluto and Aquarius souls that will be coming onto the planet. I know, right? But Clem, we're going there. They need
I'm
to
verklempt.
hear.
I'm so verklempt right now. Talk amongst yourselves. I am so verklempt.
Let us become the song that welcomes the new wave of souls over the next 20 years. Where are we inviting them into? Because they're going to come with Aquarius crown chakra open. Can you
I can't
imagine
even
this
believe
wave
you.
of souls coming on?
I
And
can't
we
even
want
believe
them to
you.
come here, and we're like, man, we want them to come here. And we're like, look, it's angels singing, it's Rigpa, like you.
Oh my gosh, Shannon, all the musicians. I remember Chris Robinson and the Black Crowes and folks in the Allman Brothers Band. All these great musicians have said when they're in that groove, there's only one song.
Irma does it again. Another mic drop.
Well, this is, and also everybody go out when we're off this video. Everyone go listen to a song by the Who called Pure and Easy. There once was a song, Pure and Easy is the song. Pete Townsend describes the song.
Dang.
In Pure and Easy.
Pure and
I'm not going to say anything more about the lyrics or anything. You just need to go listen to it. It's one of my favorite songs by the Who. It's a totally profound song. You guys know me. I think Townsend is completely underrated. The guy's unbelievable. He's channeled such beautiful lyrical and musical content for their entire career. But Pure and Easy is what you're describing, Shannon. You're describing the song.
Wow.
And that is Pisces, right? Pisces is music. Neptune is music.
Yeah. Yep. Music, poetry, art, dance.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I don't know how we can go much higher than that. I think we'll, wow.
I love everybody's coming to the party now. They're going to be singing the Pure and Easy.
Everyone's going to be, we got to be singing that, grooving on that song. Shannon, thank you so much for your time today. It's always so amazing to connect with you. I love you.
Thank you for having me on the Cosmic Couch.
Cosmic Couch, yay!
Yay.
I don't know what I think about this like iPad thing that keeps centering. It was so funny. I was getting up before it. It was going, it was trying to find me.
Yeah, totally. It's like, you're not getting away from
I know. Where is she? I think we'll definitely be having another chat. We'll have, we always, we like to, now that we're back on schedule again, to our regularly scheduled programming, live from the
rabbit, to get
live at the Cosmic Couch. We're getting things back together. So we'll have you back on, and just going forward, besides Pluto and Aquarius and Saturn happening in Pisces, these eclipses in spring are
my God.
mind-blowing.
We
Mind-blowing.
haven't gotten there yet.
We're not there yet. I'm gonna
In March.
I'm gonna have a lot in March. I'm gonna have a lot to say about that also. Let me give you guys a new plug. I have a new Substack.
Yes.
I'm fed up with censorship. I'm gonna let it rip. I'm now at Substack. irmak.substack.com. Everybody check out my new, it launches officially on January 22nd. There is going to be paid and free material there, free content for everybody. I'm working on a new piece. It's eventually going to be a book. You will get it first at Substack, y'all. So
Wow.
if you're interested in that material, I'm going to say it again, irmak1word.substack.com. This is the new blog, and I encourage everybody to sign up. And again, there's going to be free and paid material. My cosmic weather material is still at Patreon, patreon.com/cosmic weather, all one word. That's where you'll find my monthly new and full moon reports and other weekly content that I provide you guys. So I now have 2 subscriber communities, one at Substack, one at Patreon. Also, please visit Shannon at Lunar Ladies. The website's lunarladies.com. We're going to share the link for the Facebook group. It's open to the wizards, to the brothers also.
Yeah, the brotherhood.
And
yes.
we'll see you over there. And Shannon, besides Black Moon Lilith, Shannon has a lot of amazing offerings all the time. I also would really like to encourage folks, if your solar return's coming up, to consider a solar return with Shannon. They're very thorough. She recommends you listen to them 3 times. I was joking, I'm going to listen to mine 10 times. There is so much. There's so much amazing information in these readings, and it's so deep that you could really just say, like, in an hour, I think I don't know, maybe it was an hour, I think it was the recording, almost something like that, or even over an hour.
Something like that. Yeah.
It was an hour and 15 minutes. I am taking little 10 to 15 minute quadrants and just stopping it and listening to it and absorbing it, because it's that deep. Shannon bringing it through as always. So
yeah, each reading comes with a follow-up. So I like to do a recording, because then I can just tune in and share what's, all that's coming through. So you got like a nice concentrated elixir. And then you take your drops, and then when you're ready, we do a Zoom 1-to-1 and we go over your experience.
It's phenomenal, you guys. I highly recommend chart readings with Shannon. Check out our offerings at Lunar Ladies. And everybody, I'd like to wish everybody a blessed, happy, abundant Lunar New Year of the Rabbit. Thank you so much. And namaste. We'll be talking to you a little bit later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.